All right, ladies and gentlemen, PECO family, good afternoon. My name is Justin Hale. I'm this year's chairperson for the Black History Month events that we have that are sponsored by the Exelon African American Resource Alliance here in the Philadelphia chapter. But enough about me. It's not about me. We have an exciting show in store for you, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this. Our theme this year is Rise Up and Lead. And today I want to introduce to you two leaders, all caps, two leaders, two pillars of excellence. And I'm going to introduce them to each other and then to you. So get ready. So first of all, I want to introduce someone who is very near and dear to our PECO family. She's a true leader in this organization, not just by her title, but in the way she carries herself and her presence. She's also a leader in our communities. She embodies the culture of promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's evident in her involvement in the network of Exelon Women as the senior executive sponsor. She's on the board of the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland and the PA Conference of Women. She is our Chief Customer Officer and SVP of Customer Ops here at PECO. So if you all can help me welcome Ms. Fumi Williamson.
Thank you, Justin.
Hey, Fumi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. I'm excited. How are you?
Hey, I'm more than excited. I don't think that's the word. Definitely, just definitely happy to be a part of this today. It's been an amazing month, really. We've had a lot of good events. How are you feeling about it?
I think it was a phenomenal start to Black History Month and just really excited about the rest of the pretty impressive programming that you all have put together.
Great, great. Well, we are about to turn it up to another level today. All right, because it's the moment we've all been waiting for the entire month. Coming to the stage, she's a three-time Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter. She's a poet, been a poet from day one, and the New York Times bestseller. She's a critically acclaimed actor, both in film and TV. She's a model. She's a philanthropist, the founder of the Blue Babes Foundation based out of Philadelphia. I could go on and on. I could go on and on about her. Some call her the soul queen. I look at her, I've known her I feel like I've known you my whole life. I look at her as my sister. And Fumi, to be honest, I mean, like I said, I've been following her for 20 years and she's truly an inspiration to me. And, like you, she's an embodiment of strength, elegance, and grace. So I'd ask you all to put your hands together, light up the screens, and let's welcome Jill Scott from North Philadelphia, North Philly.
Hi. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
You deserve it and more. It's an honor. It really is an honor to be here in your presence. Thank you for taking the time, spending your weekend, this part of your weekend with us. I'm sure you have other places you could be, but you're here, so thank you.
Honey, I wouldn't be anywhere else but bed. This is tough work week, friends.
It's Valentine's Day weekend. I'm sure there's so much things to do.
It is? Oh boy. I'm messing up.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you. And as I said, this is Fumi as well.
Hi, Miss Fumi.
Well, Miss Scott, so excited to meet you.
Pleasure. Wow, beautiful.
As you are, as you are.
Finally.
Definitely is a pleasure. I just wanted to maybe just start off. I'll just ask you a very softball type of question, but we all know you're from North Philadelphia, and most of us are from Philly or based out of here. I want to know what's your favorite hangout spot in North Philly? Where do you like to be?
You know what? It's been a long time since I've had a chance to just like kick it. I'll tell you what used to be my favorite spots. My favorite spots were the neighborhood bars. It started really early. My grandfather used to take me to the bar with him, and the nice lady would give me milk or a Coke, and I would sit and listen to the men talk. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great way to build the community and share some laughs. And, I love a neighborhood bar.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely something that we all can appreciate, just the environment and the atmosphere.
Yeah, it was really cool. I miss that.
That's That's good. Okay. Well, we all know a lot about your background and growing up in the city. Fumi, my question to you is, did any of the background, her background, resonate with you at all, with your history, your origin?
You know, I think what really struck me, Miss Scott, about your story is just the way you just pursued what was your passion without any boundaries and
Hmm.
just stayed true to your heart. And, for me, very different. But I will say that's something that I have tried to live by as well.
I think it makes a big difference if you're enjoying what you're doing. So often people make life about the struggle. The struggle party, the struggle bus. But there's supposed to be joy in whatever it is that you're doing. And it makes a difference in your energy, in your attitude, in your desire to move forward. Passion is absolutely key to a joyful existence, and that's really what I want for myself, and I want for my family and the members of my communities. I've got several at this point now, but that's what I'm talking about. Like we should be full of joy.
Right.
I totally agree with that. Fumi, do you want to
Uh,
start off by
I'll
asking?
I'll take it from here. I do
Okay.
have quite a bit of questions for you, Miss
Okay.
Scott. We'll get into it. I will just say, again, we're just so excited to have you today. We're very excited to have you. The entire audience has been looking forward to this all month long. And I am absolutely beside myself with excitement, but I promised my team not to embarrass them. So I'm going to be well behaved, even though I'm a, hardcore fangirl. So I'm just going to start our conversation today with a question about your story. We have colleagues and friends, and just like Justin talked about, that grew up, North Philly and pretty close to where you grew up as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and how did you really rise to fame and rise to the level that you have? From an underserved community and from, humble beginnings in a major city like Philadelphia.
Okay, let's see. I'll try to make this as brief as I can because it's a long journey. Um, but I think worth telling.
Yeah.
It started with my mother, um, who decided that I needed to go outside the four corners of my block,
Mm.
that I needed to see more. So she took me to the art museum, which was free on Sundays, till 1 o'clock. So we would get up early. We would go to the Kingdom Hall, and then after the Kingdom Hall, we would go to the art museum. And I saw the impact of art on people. And my mother, she would see a painting and cry. And I'd be like, wow, art can really, touch people. Then she'd take me to Ord Leaves, slide me behind her so that I could hear the live jazz musicians and, keep me hidden, that kind of thing. She gave me art. So every chance she got, if somebody gave her a ticket or somebody was just being nice to the beautiful tall lady and gave her an opportunity to see something like Moment Chance or a ballet at the Academy of Music, she took me to these things and it broadened my horizons. So I started going to Temple University. My intention was to be a teacher. I wanted to teach the English language because I think that it can be so much fun, and also empowering. Between poetry and plays and novels and nonfiction, all the juice. I thought maybe that's what I do. But I got to Temple and I realized how broke I was. I was definitely struggling. I worked a couple of jobs while going to school. That was a big challenge. And I think that's where the idea for Blues Babe really came from. That Blues Babe Foundation in Philadelphia, that sometimes the intentions are good, the grades are there, but
Mm.
there is not enough time in the day to work 3, 4 jobs,
It's
in order to pay for school. Um, back to I guess you're looking at how I got here where I am currently. Um, I took an apprenticeship. I was on my way to school. I was on my way. I was in university. I was in my junior year. I started student teaching, and I had a principal tell me that I was young and idealistic, and I get over it and fall into the grid of how things are supposed to be,
Oh, wow.
which was very frustrating to me. So I quit school that day, and I quit my job. And Ozzie Jones called me, a fellow poet. He's a director.
Okay.
And I'm trying to a Haas award winner as a director, I believe. And he called and said, "There's an apprenticeship. It's going to pay you very little money, $150 a week,
Mm.
but you'll have health insurance. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So, and you'll get free acting lessons." He didn't tell me that we were going to, the apprentice were all younger than I. I was
Mm.
the only African American. Um, he didn't tell me what we were going to be building sets and hanging lights and laying down floors and cleaning toilets and mopping gigantic floors in the lobbies,
Wow.
and carrying 3x4s and using jackhammers.
Mm.
But those are the things that I needed to do in order to get free acting lessons there. So I did. And although I fell asleep in a lot of my classes, because we did 16 hours a day, I got the bug for acting, and I thought this is a good thing.
Wow.
This feels good to me. And I auditioned for Rent, and one thing really just led into another. I got the Rent job as Seasons of Love soloist, and learned that theater is very, very hard. And I was like, what else can Punchinella do? You know? So I was like, well, I do like to sing, so I had been singing, and eventually I got a record deal. And I chose them, the record label that I went with. I chose them because it just seemed like this was a good human being,
Mhm.
and that the appreciation and love for art was sincere, and that they weren't so concerned with my appearance, that they
Wow.
really loved the music. So I don't know if all of that makes sense. It's been a following of my joys.
Mm.
This thing makes me sad. I got to go another direction. This thing gives me a little more light in whatever situation that I'm in. I'll follow that light. This feels great. I'll follow this. And if it stops feeling good, then it stops giving me joy, feeding my spirit, then it's time to move in another direction. And I do that pretty harshly.
Mm.
Like I said, that day when the principal said what he said, I quit school that day. Like, what am I wasting my time for? You're
Mhm.
telling me that the system is going to beat me down. Well, I don't want that. And I've been able to teach still, which is awesome. My it's not my motto, but it works for me. Thoreau said, when a man truly commits, the universe will conspire for his success, or her success in this case. And my commitment is to be authentic to myself. I like my low light. I want it to shine. I want
And
to
does
feel
it?
good.
And does it shine?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry that was long-winded.
No, no, no. And I think, I just reflect back. The very first video of yours that I saw was Golden. And what just came through for me was how joyful you were in that video. And that joy, just to hear you talk about following joy and that kind of being your compass. I mean, it shows through basically in your work and in everything you do. So we're very happy you didn't listen to that principle and you just went ahead and did your own thing. So we're very happy for that. I will ask you one follow-up question on that. Did you always know that you will rise to this level of success? Like, did a part of you know that this would happen?
Not at all.
Mm.
I wasn't thinking about it. It's been the work, not the the craft, I'll say, not the work. I'm not really that girl, but it's been about the craft more than anything. That this feels so good to my soul that I'll head to this direction. Oh, and you'll pay me for it? Oh, that's great. You know, I wish I could say that I was one of those people that had this grand design and I knew what I was going to do always. I didn't. And I still, I'm getting better at it as I get older, plotting and planning my moves for my greater purpose. But no, I had no idea. I just allowed myself to listen to myself, if
Mhm.
that makes any sense to you. It's the that little voice that says go the other direction.
That's right.
And I've been paying attention to that. And when I don't, because there's times I'm a human being. So there's times when I don't listen to that voice. When I do, it normally leads me astray. And then I have to about face. And I do hard.
Wow. I mean, just a lot of really important nuggets in there, and we're just so happy that you're sharing them with us. As we talk about joy, I want to move into the next question, which is around passion. One of the things that for me is very obvious is that everything you touch exudes passion. You're talking about how you wanted to teach and learn how to teach, the English language. And I remember listening to one of your interviews and you talked about stew and music. And I was like, wow, like I've never heard those words together in that combination before. So even the metaphors that you use, they exude passion, your poetry, your style, and everything about you really just has passion written all over it. So
So,
how do you define passion?
um, I would, that sounds gross. It, it's it's an internal fire,
Mm,
the thing that gets your oven working, the
mhm,
thing that um, makes you jump up in the morning. That is a passion.
mhm.
The thing that keeps you up all night and you're okay with being exhausted for it because of the quality of the work that you're doing or the craft that you're creating. That, some people's passion is money, and they focus on how to make more of it, how to save it, how to use it wisely.
Mhm,
Um, Passionate people are really the direction to go to.
mhm,
Smart people love them. But when they have a passion and also incorporated into their intelligence, those are the people you gravitate to. When there's that combination, you're making a team for yourself.
right. That's right.
So your stylist should be excited about Fashion Week and excited about shopping. Yeah, they're making money and nice money as well, but they're also feeling a desire deep into their selves to make their artist or their client look away. You know,
Mhm,
um, the director, the writers, that they're excited about saying that thing that
yeah,
can pivot the whole scene or film or story. Be around people that are, yes, intelligent but also passionate. It makes a difference.
sure does. I love that definition, the fire inside of you. And, sounds like, your mom was very instrumental in just introducing you to a lot of different things. So, how did you figure out what your passion was, as you got exposed to great artists and singers and different things? Like, how did you discover what your passion was?
Trial and error. Trial and error. I auditioned for uh, creative and performing arts there in Philadelphia, and I went in to sing because I thought maybe I could. But by the time I got there, I decided I was going to write. And then when I got in, I was like, I'm a writer. You know, I ended up going to Girls High um, for other reasons, but I decided then that I was a writer. It was a spur of the moment idea. Um, Trial and error. I got sad and I sang a song at a poetry reading, and it went silent for, a second or two, and then it exploded. The room exploded. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Maybe I'll do that again. Just trying things out that feel good to you. Those the things that give you your little personal joy, trying them, and you never know. It's all the people that know how to bake a great lemon cake. And everybody, every time they bake a cake and give it to someone, they say, oh man, this is the best lemon cake I've ever had. It sparks an idea, it sparks an initiative to create these cakes, and maybe somebody will buy them.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing begets another. If you're good at anything, try it and see. Just give it a shot and go around people that are doing it already. Everybody has a mentor, or they should. Be around the person, the kind of people that you want to be like. You're yourself, but be around those kind of people that are doing the thing that you love to do. So you know what to do and what not to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So speaking of passion,
Mm.
so one thing that's clear, you're very passionate about giving back to the community, in not just I'm just going to write a check, but a very active and visible way. So can you tell us about your foundation, Blues Bay Foundation? How did it start, and what's the story behind that?
Um, I went to Greenfield Elementary School. I got there and found out that I was poor. I didn't know that until I got there, because everybody in my neighborhood, we all kind of lived the same way. Um, so that was startling to me. Um, and I went to high school and found out I was really poor, because so many people had grass in the front of their house, on the sides, and in the back. Some people had pools.
Mm,
And I was like, wait a minute.
mm,
And then I go to college and I'm working two jobs trying to figure this thing out. And I find out, as I go along, high school, elementary school, college, that where I come from is called the bottom.
mm,
I didn't know that I was in the bottom. You know what I mean? So once I arrived in this place where I was enjoying the hard work, because it is hard work, all of it is, enjoying the things that I've been blessed to do. I was like, I know that there's somebody else. There's some kids that are in the quote unquote bottom,
yeah.
that have dreams and goals, that would like to see more. Or maybe they don't have dreams and goals yet, but they could see more and do more. Maybe they're in a space where they don't know that there's grass outside of parks.
Mhm.
So that's where the Blues Babe Foundation started. Um, Trying to grabbing some kids from the quote unquote bottom. So Camden is considered the bottom, and North Philly is considered the bottom. Let's grab some kids from these communities, and number one, those who are really making an effort in school, let's try to help them out.
Yeah.
Um, where we may not be able to pay for everybody's education, we can get those books for you, boop boop.
Mm-hmm.
We can get your housing for you. We can make sure you have transportation to school. All the places where I did not have help. I thought that'd be a good thing to do. And far as the camp is concerned, Camp Jill Scott is a part of Blues Bay Foundation. Um, we're taking kids to grass and trees, and they have the archery, and they go swimming, and they laugh out loud, and they're not looking behind their backs, and they're not watching for cars. They're just free. And we bring people to them who are bankers, who are designers, who are actors, who are singers, who are scientists, who are novelists, to instill them with another level of dream. Because when you dream more, you desire more, you want more out of your life. And if television is a fantasy. It's a fantasy that seems so far away. But camp is real.
Right.
You know, and it's an opportunity to be around some kids that might be a little more quiet than the rest,
Hmm.
but have a light in them too. We want them to shine their lights. I have to thank Aisha Whitfield for hugely pioneering for the Blues Babe Foundation and for our camp, Camp Jill Scott. Our campers end up going, they become our counselors. Our counselors end up benefiting when they go to college because we're right there to help them with their books and their, transportation and housing and whatever it is that they need that their job and financial aid of their parents doesn't cover because we want to help them get to the next place. And then it ends up where those same students that are now graduates end up donating back to Blues Babe Camp and Blues Babe, the Jill Scott Camp and Blues Babe Foundation. So it's like this beautiful secular relationship
Hmm.
where we're just inspiring, and those inspired inspire others,
Yeah.
and it's very pleasing to my spirit.
Yeah. I saw a video, and he was interviewing some of the kids in Camp Jill Scott.
Mhm.
And there was this one kid, and he was like, "This is life changing." And again, one of the things that was just common was there was so much joy in these kids and their faces,
Yes.
how they were engaging. They were so joyful. And it was just really remarkable to see that. And so we're just so grateful for all that you're doing to change their lives, and to change the impact in the community. So really excited to hear about that. So can you tell us about how we can support? We want to be part of this joy. We want to be part of the future and the joy for these kids. So I know that Camp Jill Scott is just one of the many things that Blues Babe Foundation does, but how do we support this organization?
Well, you can always donate some of your time.
Mm.
If you're one of those people who have been led or guided yourself into your passion, come in and talk to some of our children at the camp. That would be awesome. We always need money. We want them to zip line. We want them to horseback ride. We want them, to get in the big ball and roll around in the grass and laugh hard, and free. We want those things. So you can definitely send us some money. We'll take that anytime. You can contact us at bluesbabefoundation.org. And let me think of, there's all kinds of, what are those little scans? I'll make sure to send you some so you can share
QR
it
code?
with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for Cash App and
Okay.
anytime you think of it, because we really are you. We really are. We're a real example of what happens when somebody, I'll start with my mom, takes the time and says, there's more to the world than just this. Let me show you. Let me show you. And then it's up to them. We do require a certain grade point average because I need to know you want it, baby. I need to know you want it. It's
Yeah, you gotta have
important.
skin in the game.
That's right.
Mhm. All right, on to our next question, which is about the arts. And clearly, you were introduced to the arts at a very young age, and you had a very kind of supportive environment that encouraged that. And so I know there's a lot of people who are interested. And we know that we're not necessarily going to be gracing the big stage anytime soon. And this isn't about, a change in our career, but how can we get engaged in the arts, and what does this bring to everyone's lives when you do that, when you're engaged in the arts in your community, especially folks from more challenging environments and background? What does the engagement in arts bring to our lives?
Oh man. First of all, there's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Check your community centers. There are a great amount of people, young and old, that go back to their community centers to teach something,
Yeah.
whether it's sketch comedy or whether it's modeling, how to sing, singing lessons. These things are available to you. They're not always that, and they don't always come with a fee.
Mm-hmm.
Investigate. And if create something for yourself. You got a couple of friends
Yeah.
that can hold a couple of tunes, have a karaoke night. You know, I'm telling you that one thing begets another.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to, to make that effort.
That's right.
Arts, they calm the mind, they release some energy that may be troubling to you. I remember I, I had gotten robbed. I got robbed in North Philly one time, and I came in and wrote a poem on the bus and read it at the poetry event that night. And they paid me, at the time they paid me $15, to read a poem, or three. I think it was three for $15. And I read this poem, and I looked up, and there were people who were angry. I could see it in their faces, and there were people who were in tears, and people who were just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wasn't alone. That's
Yeah.
one of the things that arts do. They remind us of our humanity,
Mm-hmm.
not by yourself, no matter what the situation is, no matter how crazy, no matter how frustrating, you are not by yourself. There's a song somewhere about it. And if there isn't, you can write it.
Right.
There's a movie about it. If not, you can be in it. You can write it yourself.
That's
all,
right.
all the technology. You've got iPhones. You can do so many things. You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, that one little light, that one spark that you put an effort in, it begets other things. You just have to allow that and know that to be true.
That's
When
right.
when a man commits, the universe will conspire to assure his success.
Amazing. Powerful words. All right. So the
Thorough.
next question, the next question is really just about giving back. So, at PECO, uplifting our communities, it's really part of who we are. Our employees, they give back in, their communities with not-for-profit organizations and places of worship and schools and different places. And sometimes, we develop some really impressive skills in this area, but somehow we oftentimes separate those skills from our career. So, can you talk a little bit about how someone can leverage skills that they have learned in giving back, and how do they really take advantage of that to enhance their career?
Take advantage of the skills that they've learned
Yes, through giving back.
through giving back. Taking advantage of the skills they learned through giving back. The advantage, it appears, it works for everyone. You have a sense of community.
Mm,
Um, I don't know too many people that don't thrive in a village. So when you've had an opportunity to learn something and you share it with others, I mean, um, it's so beneficial. Tasha Smith is one of my favorite actors because she's also a coach.
mm,
She goes around the country coaching people on acting. And I just recently bumped into her again, and I looked at this woman with all of this glow and all of this strength because she's been actively giving,
mm.
actively doing so. And it's a beautiful thing. It's the greatest way to live, in my opinion. When you receive and you also give, that's the balance of life. Period. Not to sound so, ooh, I'm just saying
It's true.
it's a balance. In order to receive, you have to give.
Hmm.
In order to give, you receive. It works. It's a beautiful balance. You just have to be open to receiving and make it a point to give, if that helps at all.
Yeah, it
How
does.
does that help you? While you're, there's that same thing, it's the begat, that whole begat thing. While you're participating and helping other people move forward and thrive in their particular craft, art, creativity, the doors open for you.
Yeah.
So even when you quit a job, and I've done it on many occasions, where you quit a job because I couldn't find joy there. There was no joy there. It was Oh, a struggle. That
Mhm.
whole struggle bus thing. I didn't want that. Typically, the doors open for me. There was a phone call from a friend or a phone call from somebody who saw me at a thing and said, "Can you do this for us?"
Mhm.
And like I got hired to teach poetry once. I had just quit my job. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? And I got hired to teach poetry, and I had a great time all summer long teaching kids poetry.
Mm.
And they, in turn, years later, I see some of those kids that are now adults with children of their own. They're educators, they're parents, they're
Mhm.
actors. I'm like, look at that. I tell my son all the time, you do good, you get good.
That's right. It comes back to you.
It always does.
Well, there are a lot of wonderful things that people say about you, Miss Scott. And obviously, you're very impressive in every single way. But one of the things that people who know you really well have said is how authentic you are. And they say that with all your fame and success, that you never really lost the essence of who you are.
Mhm.
So can you tell us, how do you define authenticity, and what does that look like as an artist?
Well, I'll say this. I really loved myself before I became the Jill Scott that anybody else knows.
Mm,
Really.
mm,
I've always, I didn't have a lot of friends. I
yeah.
didn't think I needed them. I grew up as an only child, so my time with myself was magical. I have a few friends who are still friends to this day, 42, 44 years of friendship, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I just did not want to lose myself. My favorite self is about 15 years old, full of, and my son says, I have a glowworm, that I'm a glowworm. I don't want to lose that.
Mhm.
And I hold very dear to that girl in me. Although I'm almost, 50, but
Oh, get out of here.
I want to hold on to that girl for the rest of my life. And when I feel myself slipping and losing her, then I know it's time to, I won't call it a retreat. I'll call it a move forward in a different direction.
Mm,
It's time to sway or pivot
yeah.
because my joy is not predicated on the stuff, if that helps at all,
Yes.
on the things. I'm not a fan of fame. I don't think it's that wise. That's just my opinion. I know that there is no man above me, and I know there's no man beneath me, and that keeps things real centered for me. I can get a brilliant word from the homeless man outside of this apartment building, or I can get a life changing comment in the middle of a hospital. You just never know. And I do believe that people are all around you, and energy is all around you to help you to move forward, to relight that joy in you. You just have to be open to it. And when it's time to shut him down, shut the energy down, to do that as well. There's a balance in all things. And I hope I'm not too far out there with you right now, but
No,
I
no.
believe that. I believe there's a balance. Fame has never been my goal. It's just a byproduct of what life has given me. So I'm still learning how to deal with that. Some days I deal with it really well. Some days I don't. You know, I am a person. I will fight for being a human being, and not a thing to, videotape while I'm at the grocery store. You know, I, I will fight for that.
Well, there is a tremendous level of humility that comes with seeing the world that way. So we're very, very appreciative of your words.
Is there an
So
option?
I'm sorry.
Is there really an option?
Well, there's some people who don't, in their mind, the world is a hierarchy, right? And to your point, the higher your bank account and your fame, the more they'll listen to you. And when you're at the bottom, then, you're completely disregarded, right? So I think it's really important that we see the humanity in everyone and that it's really a flat structure in this world. And when we try to say it another way, it's wrong.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever you see right now, or whatever you watch on a movie or in a concert, I come from what they said was the bottom.
Hmm.
But there, I was loved.
Yep.
I was groomed. I was cared for. I was watched. I had neighbors that look out for me. I had neighbors with lemonade and sugar cookies. I had neighbors that swept their front. I had family, and I cannot forget that. That was the good stuff. I hold on to that forever. Keeps me sane. World full of crazy.
I have one more question. I know we have some questions in the chat. But this one, I know there's a lot of people that are listening to you that would really want to hear this word. So in your music, you sing about life's highs, you sing about life's lows.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that there were days where, you weren't sure that your dreams are going to become a reality or that you would make it. So can you share some examples from your life that really motivate you and encourage you to just continue striving and moving forward with your craft and your dreams?
Um, wow. Okay, right now I'm doing a show and we are working like 16, 17 hours a day.
So some long days.
Yes, ma'am. And I quit, I think every day. About every day I quit and I say, oh no, no, I'm not gonna do this. But I consider all the people that are doing this job, the lighting, the craft services, the
Mm,
costuming, the makeup, this village that is here to create entertainment for, so many people. So um I give up all the time. I give up all the time and then I talk myself out of it.
mm,
If it's so bad, if it's so bad, then I have to find something else to do where I
mm,
can't find any joy,
yeah,
you know, then I have to go. And that means that for me that I may have to end up spending a whole lot of money just to go and find peace.
yeah.
But I do consider the people that I have around me and their energy and their light, and that's helpful. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I will say this. It is imperative to have people around you that are like-minded.
Mm,
It is imperative that you go outside of the people that are like-minded to find others and speak
mhm,
to them as well. You never know how this road is going to take you. You cannot be so structured that you are trapped. I don't want anyone to be trapped. There is I keep talking about joy, I keep talking about freedom, and I will continue to talk about those things. I don't like boxes. I don't believe in them for anyone, especially us. I just can't stand it.
mm,
So go forward, go forward, enjoy the ride.
mm.
If you're not enjoying the ride, maybe you change the gear. Maybe you turn that steering wheel and go in another direction. But follow your instinct, follow your heart, and follow your passions. They will take you where you want to go, truly and sincerely. And you don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about it. It'll come. What you do need to worry about is how to deal with it. I will say that. That's important. What do I know about having money? Had to find some people that knew about having money.
Right.
Going outside of my box and finding people that could help me, so that I don't blow it. You know, I'm
Mhm.
all over the place, but it's all over the place with love. I promise.
No, this is really powerful. And just this conversation, I mean, it just amazing. We're just so blessed to have you here today. So we have questions
More.
in the chat. All right. Here is one. You appear to have great energy. I don't think it's appear. Clearly you do. What do you do to fill your cup when it's empty?
I go to sleep. I am a professional napper.
Oh, wow.
So I have the pillow under my knees. I have the humidifier next to my bed. My bed smells like lavender. I do not play about my naps. I take them. I shuts down. Okay. That is a balance. And then
Oh,
there's also, I love to look at my child. I love to listen to my child. I love to see what he's talking about, thinking about, and watching him grow and participating in that. That is the most wonderful, selfless, fulfilling thing that I've ever had a chance to encounter.
wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. All right, we have do we have any other questions?
I think we
We're at
can.
time.
Yeah, I think we're at time right now.
We're having too much fun over here, Justin.
I
All right.
know. I could tell. I didn't want to stop it. Oh, Jill, we want to thank you. We really do on behalf of PECO. Fumi and I just want to just offer our thanks for spending time with us this afternoon. Your story is inspirational. People in the chat have used the word authentic, and I couldn't agree with them more. We could feel it.
Thank you.
And you mentioned your passions, and what keeps you going and taking that step out of your paradigm, being authentic. I love your reference to the laws of giving and receiving, and listening to that voice inside of you. So thank you, Jim.
Did I mention being grateful? I mentioned
Did.
that at all?
I think you did.
Oh my dear, that's a big one. You're really not going anywhere without the grace to be grateful,
Yeah.
because there's nothing, really nothing that's a given. It's gifts. So that's important to recall. Yeah.
Thank you. And most of the people on this chat, everybody has expressed gratitude to you and to
Yes,
what you said. So thank you so much. As a token of our appreciation, we did send you a gift to your mailing address, so you should be getting that soon.
you did.
The small token, but we're just, we're so appreciative.
Is it a monkey? I always wanted a monkey.
Oh man, I got to put that on my
That can be arranged, right, Justin?
exactly. Well, so if you're, we definitely appreciate learning more about your foundation, Blues Babes.
We're so grateful. Thank you just for sharing your story and giving of yourself
Yeah,
to us today and to the community. We're just so grateful. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
problem. And with that, thank you all for joining us. Let's continue the month. Let's rise up and lead, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Peace, y'all.